And welcome back to Ozarks Live. We are very lucky to be here with the mayor of Springfield, Ken McClure. Mr. Mayor, how are you doing?
I'm well. It's good to see you. Thank you for having me.
After having run a kind of a small marathon recently.
We had a lengthy meeting.
Well, we're talking about, of course, the Springfield flag. And how long ago did the buzz start to change the flag?
Well, it actually goes back to about 2017. There was a group that set up, they call themselves the Springfield Identity Project, and started working on it. And I first became aware of it somewhere in that time frame, and I just kind of watched. You know, how's this going to play out? What's it going to be? And it took on a life of its own, but it was very, very much a public project, and that struck me early on in this. And so it goes back, what are we, 2022? So almost 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out there. It's not like anyone had a hidden agenda going on here.
No, it was actually very public. I became aware of it early on and just watched.
Well, first of all, let's take a look at the original, I guess this is the original Springfield flag. It's the most current Springfield flag.
To my knowledge, it was the first and only flag. It was set up in 1938. I'm not aware of one prior to that time.
Okay, and you know, a lot of people probably didn't even know we had one.
Right.
I am among them. I did not realize we had that.
So 1938, and that was adopted by a resolution by City Council at that time, and it was based after a contest in the Springfield Public Schools. So that's where that design originated.
Oh, all right. That's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. Okay, so now, after these years of talking and discussion and what have you, now there is the current the one that has recently been adopted into representing our new flag. Let's talk about what all of those mean, all of the symbols, the colors.
If you look at the white stripe in there, that talks about Route 66 and our transportation heritage. We are a transportation hub.
Right.
Route 66 in there. The compass rose talks about the fact that we are the Queen City. We are the crossroads.
The white crown that you see on the top.
That's what we're talking about. The stars are talking about innovative spirit, our commitment to nature, and the ability that we have in our culture that we have. So those three are really pretty symbolic of what we are as a community, and very similar really in scope to what the stars were on the original flag, on the current flag. So changing around, certainly the color scheme is different. But what struck me was the excitement that came about from this. As you talked about, a lot of people did not know we had a flag, and certainly did not know the origins of it. But what I've seen is an excitement and a community pride that I haven't seen before. And that's good. This really ties in with so many good things we have going on in the community. And it's time to probably look at the change. And so we did that, but we tried to make it a very public process. Lots of input opportunities for people to weigh in. What do they think about it? But I'm very comfortable with this. I'm comfortable with the process and certainly with the product.
Now, the other thing is, don't think that this is something unusual or this has never been done before.
Well, that's correct. I did some research on this over the time period. The city of St. Louis has a very iconic flag, but it's 1964 and relatively new by some comparisons. The one before that was the traditional King St. Louis, and that actually had 2 iterations. Interestingly enough, the city of Kansas City has had 4 flags since 1913.
Really? 4 different flags? So it's not that unusual.
Since 13.
Change the design.
Since 1913.
Yeah.
The city of Jefferson City, where I spent a good part of my career, is having a similar process right now. Their current flag goes back to the early 90s, so not that long ago. And they've got a similar group working on reconfiguring what that was. So the point that struck me is we're not unusual in doing this, in looking at it.
Well, there was a lot of debate over this flag, but in the end, it passed, and it's going to be adopted into the new one. But you are going to, is this the right word? You're going to retire the other one?
We will retire the current flag. We put an effective date on this of March 1, and that's to, one, allow the supplies to be obtained, but secondly, to give us time to appropriately recognize a flag that served us well since 1938.
Deserves it.
We will probably go to the square, appropriately retire that, lower it, raise the new one. But I think what you will see council wanting to do is to declare the current one the historic city flag.
Yeah.
much like we have historic City Hall or the historic Greene
So
County
retired
Courthouse.
but not gone.
Not
Right.
gone. It will
Okay.
still be
All right.
seen. We want to involve the History Museum, for example, with
course.
this progress. And so this, I think, gives tribute to this flag, keeps it out there. It's like a baseball or football team that has uniform changes. Well, they go back and they wear
Right.
the old uniforms.
And
that
everybody
type of-
loves that,
Everybody
sure.
loves that. So we want to try to get the best of both of this. The current flag has served us well, very meaningful. Frankly, though, it's not been widely known that we have one. This one, I suspect, will be very widely known.
Oh,
certainly,
yes.
certainly much more so than the current one. And as a result, I think we can hopefully get the best of both. A new, innovative flag appropriately recognizing the historic flag.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, we look forward to all of this happening. Mayor Ken McClure, thanks for taking
Oh,
time
my
out to
pleasure.
join
Thank
us.
you for having me.
Publicity.
Yeah, we'll have you back on soon.
Okay, very good.
We'll be right back after this.